Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk. It's a call-in show on the Skeptic Haven channel. Let's Talk is a safe space for atheists, those questioning or leaving a religion, and anyone that wants to ask questions and have respectful discussions. From the US, call us at 984-789-4787. And from outside the US, you can call us on the little thing you see on the bottom of the computer there, using the URL on there. And 8 Technology Wonderful.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Co-hosting with me today is the one and only Mr. Jim Barrows. Everybody, round of applause.
Hey, been looking forward to this, Neil.
Yeah, it's been a while since you and I have done one of these together. I know, exactly. What's going on with the background there? Are you like on a beach somewhere making me jealous and stuff, or what's going on?
Yeah, that is actually Panama City Beach.
Nice.
Down there. So yeah, it's better than my normal background, which is just, like my house. So that one works quite well. Just the interior of the building. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that is actually Panama City. It's blue, so it can't be anywhere in Texas. So
right,
except for Corpus Christi, the Corpus Christi area, Texas gets blue. Otherwise, it's all brown because from Texas on to Alabama almost. Yeah, pretty much. It's brown because the Mississippi comes through and just brings all the mud.
So I'm assuming you've been paying attention. Oh, I'm myself. I do my usual Sunday brunch with my mom every Sunday. So we went for dim sum today, and
Cool.
I couldn't eat everything, so I got a pork bun left over that I'm going to munch on a little later. But recently, I've been really digging Gavin Newsom's tweets, the way he tweets like Trump, all in caps and stuff like that. The guy's hilarious.
The entire right-wing media doesn't get it. They just don't get it. They're all upset about it. And it's like, if you're upset at Gavin, you have to be upset at Trump because he is mocking Trump's tweets. And it's just absolutely hysterical.
Oh, it's cool.
And it comedy gold right there.
Exactly.
And they just keep propagating it too. Every time they complain about, the tweets, guess what? He's just mocking dear leaders. So, and then that whole swing and a miss debacle in Alaska. Where Trump doesn't seem to realize that Alaska is part of the United States. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. No, he probably honestly thought it was a separate country they were doing it in. I mean, why would you hold a meeting in Alaska?
I don't know. Maybe thought, well, it's nice and close to Russia. So, well, the truth is, it used to be part of Russia many years ago.
Yeah, we bought it from them, but I mean, flights for Putin from Moscow would be closer, I think, to fly from Moscow to Washington, D.C. than to fly Moscow to Alaska, but just very strange.
It would be. It actually would be.
Yeah.
Right? Because Moscow is, you go over the Atlantic rather than over your entire fucking country to get to the Pacific, right?
Yeah. The Atlantic's a much... Well, he's not really crossing the entire Pacific, but I mean...
No, but even to get to the Pacific, he's got to go across.
You're crossing a whole lot of territory.
Let's be honest, Jim. That entire GOP,
and then just to get steamrolled,
they're not the sharpest fucking pencils in the box.
I don't get it. Well, they're leaving classified documents on hotel printers. So, what are you going to do, right? I mean, that's the kind of quality you get when you hire for loyalty rather than competency.
Exactly.
As someone who's actually been trained on how to handle classified material, that right there is just a huge no with classified. That's instant fireable offense. Maybe bringing up on treason might be a bit of a stretch, but I mean that used to be taken pretty seriously, and I guess now nobody cares. So
no, probably
but
not.
that was a
Especially
debacle.
with, was it fucking
So-
Hegseth that with the fucking chat thingy that he leaked a bunch of information?
Well, I mean, Hegseth was I think no more. Was he a captain? I think he
I'm
made
not
it
sure.
past 03, and he was a journalist, so he should know better, but he doesn't because he's not. He's probably been to, I think, maybe one command school. I don't know. In the Army at 03, he would have been, one man school. Whereas a general or somebody who's actually qualified has been through all the command schools that branch of the military has to offer. And Hegseth has never been to a single one. So what does he know about commanding anything larger than, a company level? At best, a company or platoon level. So even in terms of Army, I think the Marine unit structure is slightly different. So if it is, don't get mad at me. We all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Trump is kind of a pushover when it comes to Putin.
Well, Putin is an ex KG, I think ex KGB agent, if I remember correctly. So he's at least trained in information extraction, and Trump's an idiot. So Trump gave away everything that Putin wanted.
I don't know what's happening here.
I don't know what's happening to my country.
Well, I don't know what's going on here because to me, you look like you keep freezing. So I don't know if it's my end or your end, but anyone else notice this? That's probably my end then.
And more importantly, is it happening on the YouTube channel? That looks like it is happening on the YouTube channel. I don't know what's going on.
I'm freezing or Jim's freezing. It could be me.
No, I'm looks like I'm freezing on YouTube. I'm not freezing locally though. Let me kill some
Did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in again?
I could. I mean, if we get to that point, sure. Let's hope I don't get to that point, Okay, so I just killed some things that might be eating bandwidth.
Eating up. Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see if that helps.
Hit the F5 and it'll refresh you, and it might fix the issue. You'll disappear from here for a minute, but that's okay. I can handle things for a couple seconds till you come back.
Okay, let me give that a shot here real quick.
Sure.
Oh, that's the wrong refresh button. I did it on the YouTube channel, not ours.
There we go. You hit the right button finally. Yeah, anytime something like this happens, we usually just hit the F5 and that kind of refreshes you. So he'll be back in here momentarily, and we can carry on with the show. We do have one call waiting in the queue. So if I don't even what is our topic for tonight? I didn't even look at it. So there we go.
All right, we'll see if that helps.
It did. You're like moving and stuff. So that's good.
No. I'm really live.
That's right. It's not just a picture and somebody imitating you.
It could be that too.
Well, with the AI today, you never know, right?
Oh, that is some amazing stuff. Scary too. I mean, there's a lot of scary stuff coming out of that, but there's also a lot of really, really cool stuff that you can do with it. So
absolutely. I think it's going to change our lives with medicine and technology and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there's an AI called consensus.app is the URL you can get to it at. And the Consensus AI is trained on only published scientific papers. So, and it will give you a summary of what the consensus of those papers are, and it'll give you links to the papers, which is really, really cool. So it's all footnoted and everything for you. It's professional grade research stuff coming out of it. And because it's trained on just research papers, you're going to get fewer hallucinations, or really not necessarily fewer hallucinations, but you're going to get fewer misses, because like ChatGPT, Claude, and all the rest of them are trained on the entire internet, including, flat earth nonsense and stuff like that. So consensus being trained on only published research papers makes it a much better source for finding anything scientific. And so putting in any flat earther claim, or I put in Interest in Genesis on Facebook, posted something about how the tides proved that the young Earth, and I was like, "Now here's all the research that says you're wrong," and I got it all out of consensus because there's all the list of papers. I'm like, "Here you go read these papers.
Sure.
You're just not right." And I literally put that into consensus, and I went, "No." It didn't say that literally, but that was the professional version. So that was
they don't want to. They don't want to know all. They don't want to read all that. They probably wouldn't even understand half the fucking jargon in there, anyways.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
dumb as a stump. Anyway,
simply secular. I don't believe in anything anymore. Yeah.
This could be Jim using a Neil filter and Neil using a Jim filter. That's true. It could be. But I'm here to tell you it's really not. This is actually me and Jim here. Right. We haven't rolled.
Why would we go to the trouble of faking each other out? That would make no sense. It would be funny though if we were to reveal it later.
It would be, absolutely. Well, I think we've been rambling long enough here. So I think maybe we should take the first call. I know who this is. It's Eva from New York. They, an atheist, and talking about deconstruction, or her book about religion and narcissism.
There are narcissists in religion?
Hello.
Really?
Hi, Eva.
Hi. It's Eva, Neil.
Oh, Eva. Sorry, it's Niall Eva. No, I'm just kidding. It's Neil.
Thank you.
Eva. Okay, it's Eva. All right. I'm just used to
it.
seeing Eva. That's the way I've always known it. But that's okay.
No worries. No worries. I'm sorry that I
put me in my place.
Supporting you. Go on.
I said you put me in my place, and that's all that matters.
I am regretting that I wasn't able to support you in the other 2 nights to call in. Just the timing. Wes was telling me, and I was like, darn it, the timing was off. But never mind. I'm here. We're here now, so that's good.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We're here now. So you said something about your book. Tell us a little bit about your book.
The title is Finally Free: My Exodus from the Covert, Malignant, Narcissist Sociopaths. And it's very important. My whole basis is in humanism. And I would call myself a lightweight, kind of an existential nihilist. And I say lightweight because for me it's a general perspective of so religion demands that you have to have a purpose, and you have a purpose, and everything has a purpose, and everything, and all that crap. And sure. I don't see any need for that. I'm a pragmatist. So the book is my experience with this type of creature. I mean, like human shaped. They're human shaped, but the things they do are so evil. And it started with my parents, and my mother was obsessively religious. And anyway, yeah. So I deconstructed. I don't want to talk too long. There are a lot of things, and we'll be talking at the end of the month too. So I don't want to go too long. So please.
Sure enough. You're going to be on my show.
Good enough to start with?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to give you too much.
I'm just kind of shocked that there are narcissists in the Christian religion. It's not like their God is not narcissistic or anything. I mean, he designed not like he sets that example. No, of course not. He's not self-obsessed and wants everybody to worship him, literally.
Not at all.
or burn.
No. Yeah, I call religion sociopathy.
Okay,
Yeah.
that works. Yeah, to some degree, that works. I mean, there's people that are in religion and religious beliefs that really aren't sociopaths. They just grew up with it, and that's what they're used to. But yeah, a lot of the leaders and people in charge tend to be narcissistic and sociopathic a lot of the times.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see some statistics on that because, Christian, when we spoke, we are painting with a really broad brush here, right? Because there are Christians who don't take the Bible literally. I think the more literally you take that Bible, the more sociopathic you get. I think you almost have to, right?
Yep.
But
I agree.
On the other hand, every Christian is one Bible quote from being, Westboro Baptist. So Bible thumpers. So yeah.
Yeah, those Westboro guys are not nice.
Yeah,
people.
100. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to respect the delay, but it's hard. It's hard to, yeah.
Yeah, we hear you. It's a bit of I think it's a 3-second delay or something. So
is it 3 seconds? Okay. I thought it was longer.
I think so. Right. I think it's about a 3-second delay. Usually that's what these things are, that I've experienced anyway. So yeah, it can be a little off-putting, I guess, because you might walk on each other from time to time, and we get that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying really hard not to do that.
That's okay.
So are we.
It's okay if and that'll make for some awkward pauses on occasion, which is still fine, right? We just recognize that it's all going to happen. But what was so it sounds like you had a fairly fundamental upbringing then?
From my mother, yes, but my mother was out of her mind because she was obsessed with attaching. She was lost. She essentially, at a very basic level, she was lost, and so she was continuously seeking at an obsessive level. So at one point, she dragged me to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I had really horrible experience there because she basically just abandoned me to. So one of the other things. So again, my experience with religion being very direct and for the most part really abusive, like really just psychopathy, sociopathy. So with the Jehovah's Witnesses. She dragged me to them and she disappeared. I don't know where the hell she went. And I was in a room with a bunch of children, and there was really severe abuse going on and neglect. And so, for example, one example was that this child had this really hideous burn on his arm. Like it was bad. And I remember looking horrified, like, what happened to you? And he said, oh, I got it on the stove. But then he said to me that whoever the adult was who was around screamed at him and called him a stupid idiot because he burned himself. So anyway, so she left me in this environment and I don't know where she was. And then she dragged me to Baptist church, and then she was speaking in tongues. And then she was, she never went to Catholicism, but her side of the family are all Eastern European Jews. And so she was Jewish, but then converted out of Judaism and really nuts. I value my Jewishness, but not the religion, just the cultural aspect. I value that, and that's
me too. Me too, because I was raised in the Jewish faith as well, so I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer allowed to make fun of the Haggadah during Passover rituals before the meal. My sister always rolls her eyes at me, so I'm not allowed to make fun of the passages in there anymore. So,
well, which one? So I was. I'm interested to know, actually, Neil. I'm curious because for many years, my parents didn't observe any. My father came from a Catholic family, and so all that happened, right?
Sure.
For to get the two families talking to each other, but. And my parents were brutally abusive, and that's a whole other thing. It's really horrible. And, but they never observed any of the Jewish holidays. So I ended up observing them with a childhood friend who was in the building, and I would spend hours, like massive amounts of time at her house, and then also celebrated various Jewish holidays with them that they observed all the holidays. But they were Reconstructionist Jews, which is super liberal. So they had a rewritten Haggadah that changed. Yeah. So is that the one you had, where it was instead of the women doing the men's work and the men doing the women's work, it was the little people had to do the big people's work, and the big people. Did you have that one? Is that
no. It was quite traditional.
Okay, yeah. So they had a rewritten, modified Haggadah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use the old standard little yellow one with the red border and the weird phoenix-looking thing on it, and I don't know what the hell that thing is, but yeah, the standard one. And there's always like you always end up sometimes I'd end up sometimes I'd end up with like my brother-in-law's father's copy, who used to do all the Passover meals and you know, lead the talks and the reading of the passages. And there's always little footnotes in there, and I always laughed at some of the footnotes because they were just seemed kind of silly to me. But that's okay.
Did you ever get told? So in the recent years, but just as a social thing, I have gone to community seders in this neighborhood just to connect with people. I don't care about the religious part, but they're all conservative and they're all Chabad. And I'm wondering whether, did you ever get told the story about something about like a sapphire shaft that was glowing and brilliant? Did you ever? Did that ring a bell? Did anybody ever tell you that story?
No, can't say I remember anything like that. Okay. I like sapphire too, so I'd remember.
Yeah.
It's very good for the chakras,
right? But, so, yeah. A couple of years ago, the rabbi had told a story during the reading of the Haggadah section, and he went into this whole poetic story about the sapphire staff, and it was brilliant and shining in the sky and all this stuff. I don't know. I think maybe Moses had it. I'm not sure what he was talking about. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. It's kind of an odd one to me.
Yeah.
Sure would be cool.
It was new to me. I'd never heard of it. Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Well, if it went high enough in the sky, it should have been seen by a whole lot of people. I mean, the higher up you go, brilliant sapphire should be recorded somewhere by multiple observers.
Yeah. Somewhere in those hieroglyphics.
Yeah. It absolutely should be. Yeah.
No.
And that's, you know, that's a really important point too. And like Jim, I've listened to you too, and I really appreciate everything that everybody's doing in the atheist community itself, you know, the different call-in shows.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep. I was in the position you are too, Eva, when I used to watch Jim on like the Atheist Experience and stuff like that. And I, mind you, I still haven't done an episode of that, and I really want to one of these days, but
I'm not in charge.
I know. But I said, oh man, one of these days I want to be able to do something like this and work with Jim and work with other people. Like I've done, well, he's left the ACA now, but I've done the Hang Up with Matt a couple of times. I've done shows with lots of people, like Objectively Dan on Truth Wanted. I've done that. I've done Talk Heathen. The only one I haven't done is Atheist Experience. So that's kind of in my life goal book, is to do an episode of that one of these days. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, they're always seem like they're always bringing on new people. So
I have so much appreciated listening to just facts and, you know, real like insightful philosophical discussion and exploring the real points of everything. Oh, so here's something that you may find interesting. So I struggled in deconstruction. So my deconstruction took a few different forms. So I went from, I remember at one point, like, why does the Bible enslave half of the entire human population? Like, why are women just property? What the fuck? So I was looking at that and questioning that and really having trouble with that. But I couldn't resolve it because I didn't have anybody to talk to, because I was dealing with an obsessive person who was dragging me to all this stuff, right? And getting baptized as an adult and all speaking in tongues and all this insanity. And so I remember at one point I was having a conversation with someone after well, the other thing is because my parents were so abusive, I had to escape from them. So then I was out in the world trying to make it happen, trying to live. And I was struggling with this, and I asked somebody, and I said what my struggle was to this person. And he said to me, and I was saying, I don't understand it, the Bible and the things that they say, and I can't support this. And he said to me, well, remember, the Bible was written by a man.
Yeah.
And that was so important. Yeah. I mean, it was so enormously important because it was the first time that somebody just pointed out to me the most simple fact, like, hello, hi, you don't have to be attached to this. This is written by a maniac, or maniacs, I should say, many. Mm-hmm. So that was vastly helpful. Yeah.
They're human written stories that were written for particular theological points and then curated by more people, mostly men, and to make religious and political points, right? The book of Daniel is thought to be entirely a propaganda piece by some biblical scholars, for instance. And that's all it is. It's just an anthology of stories that represent someone's religious viewpoint at the time that was written, and has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. I mean, you can't claim it's divinely inspired given all the atrocities in it. How many times?
Not only that, written how long after the fact?
Right. You're never the burning bushes don't talk. Donkeys don't talk. Snakes don't talk. If we're gonna put.
Yeah, neither do dragons in Genesis.
Well. Yeah, the Exodus never happened. Both Israeli archaeologists and Egyptian archaeologists agree that the Exodus, as written, didn't happen. There were not 1 million Semitic people in Egypt to all leave at the same time. So
and that's and I've gained a lot of addition. I'm really happy to have learned a lot of things about the specific actual history that was occurring at the time, and how, And then the other thing, I've told this to other people too, Peter, the book of Peter, not written by someone named Peter anyway, but it was just a series of angry letters screaming at neighboring towns about how they weren't following the law properly. Like, it wasn't even, so.
Half the letters of Paul are thought to be forged, and Christianity really owes its popularity to Paul rather than to Christ. So, these things all happened.
Did I miss Peter? I said Peter instead of Paul. Yes, sorry.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Well, at least they produce good music. They may not produce good writings.
Well, Mary is another one of those things where it's like, I think about that whole idea of God impregnating Mary at the ripe old age of 14.
Sexual assault.
Maybe he's on the Epstein list.
If not, he should be. That is definitely sexual assault, one way or the other.
It's gross.
And if a CEO can't ask a secretary out because of the power difference, right? He can't make that ask without threatening the secretary's job because of the power difference between them, right? So how does that work with a God and any human being, much less Mary? God asking them to do anything, right? Especially a God who is known for being, petty and jealous, who destroyed the world because I made a mistake, so I'll just blow it all up, right?
God doesn't make mistakes, Jim. Come on.
Wow.
Oh no!
Why did he flood the planet?
Hey, I'm just repeating the tropes that I hear.
You have to modify that because it depends on who you ask and when you ask. And
I know. I know. I'm just repeating the tropes
There's
that get
another
shoved
thing I
down my
share
throat.
with you, Neil. I share common ground with you because I spent some time being a white witch and in paganism. So my process of deconstruction went from kind of going, no, not Christianity. Oh, but I'm a white witch in paganism. But, it's all magical thinking anyway. So I don't need
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Yep,
And that's
magical
the
thinking
real
can be
problem,
crazy.
right? Is putting your putting your faith in something that doesn't necessarily going to get you out of any problems you may have, right? Praying doesn't get you out of problems. It doesn't solve anything for anybody. It can make things worse because now you're relying on God to get you out of it, and He doesn't exist,
He
so He's
ain't
not going to
around.
help, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, or worse, you use God to justify everything you're doing. I heard somebody make the argument that so almost everything Trump is doing about the Republicans are doing about the border is directly opposed by passages in the Bible. And some idiot made the comment, no, that means that the border is a secure border. And it's like, wait, no, one, you're reading into that and you're interpreting the Bible. So how do you know when you're right or wrong in interpreting it? More importantly, can you prove that historically there was anything like borders like we have today? Passports and all the rest of it. So what do you mean by secure? Because they didn't really exist. So
No.
just
Right. You
bizarre
reminded me
stuff.
of something that's not directly related, but just in terms of the historical, that's the other thing. There's actual history that's quite rich and interesting.
Mhm.
And I'd rather know what the actual real history was. So, for example, our Jewish ancestors, they used to smoke in the temple of I forgot the oh crap. But there's like tons of pot residue there. They were like getting high and whacked out. The priests, the rabbis, they were getting all whacked out, smoking pot in the temple. It's like there's all this residue in the temple, and then apparently would give like inspired messaging to people and all this, but that these laws, a lot of these laws, the Code of Hammurabi was passed down and reinterpreted and rewritten. Anyway, it's so much more useful to really actually have a sense of what was really going on.
Sorry, I'm just trying to look something up.
Yeah, that's very true. And modern what we know now is so much more than what we knew then. I mentioned the book of Daniel. Daniel gets historical things that they should be getting right completely wrong. Because they were closer to it than we are, and yet we have better documentation because a lot of this stuff was handed down through oral tradition. Reading was not a fundamental skill at the time. So, it just taking anything from that time on face value. Eyewitness testimony, what eyewitness testimony? I'll have Christians argue with me that Luke is eyewitness testimony and written it as a diary. And it's like, well, no, go read the second paragraph of Luke 1, where it says he's literally gathering the stories together for somebody else. So it can't be a diary, and it can't be eyewitness because he's literally telling you he's not an eyewitness.
Right.
So
Also, Eva, temple
eyewitness testimony is the worst thing to go to for evidence.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. One of the worst forms of evidence you can have. Absolutely.
That temple, Eva, is called Telerad, is the name of the temple. And,
that's it.
Yes.
Telerad. Yes, I was just losing the name. Yes, Telerad.
A well-preserved substance found in it. Huh? Hang on one second.
Go on.
A well-preserved substance found in a 2,700-year-old temple in Telerad has been identified as cannabis, including its psychoactive compound, THC. So there you go. So
Yeah,
it's
I
used
mean, they
to-
were getting
to
really
juice
blasted
a high among
and then
worshipers.
giving God's word to the people.
So next time my mom complains that I smoke weed, I'm going to say, "Hey, Mom, they used to do it in the temples back in the old days. So come on, can't be all
Yeah.
bad."
It was no, I mean, that was the practice. I mean, that's what they did. And then
Yep.
Genesis is full of like the most minute, excruciating detail about you have to have 12 stones wrapped in thingy, whatever, and thread this and embroidery this and blue and red and good gracious. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what if there is an omniscient, omnipotent, omnibenevolent being, they would not need to be doing all of that to let people know.
No,
Yeah.
no, of course not.
Yeah. You don't, a all powerful God does not need to do such a bad job of advertising that he exists as the Bible does. The free will arguments don't work because Satan saw God, knew God, still rebelled using his own free will. So that doesn't work. God's the two worst things you can do is a delayed punishment or a delayed reward in terms of motivating human beings. The least useful, and then punishment. So a delayed punishment, which is all hell is one of the worst ways to motivate human beings. Least effective ways to motivate human beings. Why is your God so bad at motivating human beings? He's got
Mhm.
delayed reward, heaven, and delayed punishment, hell. Delaying either incentive is bad on its own and is ineffective, is less effective on their own. And the worst is delayed punishment is the least effective. Why is your God so bad at leadership? Did he not read any of the modern business leadership books that are out there today talking about servant leadership and what it really does, how bad it is to lead through fear and through threats of punishment? Didn't he read any of those books? How about any
Apparently
modern
not.
psychology book?
No,
Yeah.
no, he wrote the toilet training at gunpoint book. That's the one he wrote.
Yeah, that's the one he likes.
But also, that's the one
Isn't
he
that
liked.
book
But
called
you know,
Everybody Poops?
talking about punishment, Jim. The other kind of punishment that you remind me of, Jim, is the one where it's I forgot the scientific term now, but general punishment. Like, since one of you is a quote sinner, I'm going to kill all
Right.
of you until you come
Yeah.
get that one. So I forget there's a term for it. I forgot.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
apple
mass punishment
spoils,
for
one bad apple spoils the whole
Yeah.
batch, or something like that.
which we're not apples, so
Yeah,
that's not quite true. But if one kid was talking all the time and a teacher punished the whole class, we'd fire the teacher. And God does that
Yep.
all the time.
All the time.
So why is God so bad at this? Go ahead.
Because people made it. Oh, and then you must know this, Jim. Neil, both of you probably, I'm sure you know this. And I have another thing to share with you too about manna, but which you probably know. But they did a brain test scan on asking a person, okay, what do you think about this? And then the certain part of the brain would ignite. And then they would ask, well, what does Mary over there think about this? And then another part of the brain would ignite. And then they ask the person, okay, what does God think about this? And the same part of the brain that was the what does you think about it ignite, the same part of the brain ignited on the what does God think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because God apparently agrees with everything we think. So there you go.
Well, if God is just, is it just to convict somebody on evidence that only applies to half the population? Is that just?
Right.
So you got a 50-50 shot of an event happening, and if it happens, the person is guilty. And if it doesn't happen, the person is guilty. If it does happen, the person is not guilty. But it's a 50-50 chance for the human being involved.
Yeah.
Is that just? No, it doesn't sound like justice to me. And yet, you can go and look at how to determine if a woman is a virgin or not.
Mm-hmm.
The bloody sheets,
yeah,
but only about
yeah.
half of half of all women bleed the first time they have sex. So where's the justice? More importantly, if men and women are equal, as some in the Bible, as some Christians say, then where is the men's test for virginity? If you want to claim men and women are equal and base it on the Bible, please tell me, where do you find the men's test for virginity?
How would you even do that test?
Well, that's kind of the point, right? Is nobody knows how to do the test because there's some biology problems here. Well, that only works if you don't take a shower.
But you know what I mean.
Ew.
Well, I'm just throwing out ideas here.
Hey, at least he didn't say take a taste test, right?
That was gross.
Oh my God! Stop it!
Bad deal. My mother would be so not happy with me right now.
Yeah, we really should not try to make the guest vomit.
No, it's okay. No, so you probably know this, but just in case, if listeners don't know, all right, okay. So manna was something called traveler's bread, right? That is the what is it what does it come out of trees? What is it? The sap, right? So the sap comes out of the trees.
How we make maple syrup here in Canada. Canadian manna. We make maple syrup out of the tree sap here in Canada. So
the tree sap emerges from the trees at night, and it flows out of the trees, and the desert gets very cold at night, and so it gets cold and it's white and it gets flaky. And then in the morning, it will fall. And it is an actual thing that you can eat it for nutrition. So the reference to manna is like, no, dude, there's an actual thing in nature that happens. This is not some magical, but this is because people interpreted their world in the way that they could understand it. They said, oh, it's from its heaven. When in fact, it was just they didn't know how to explain it in science, is all.
Well, I think sometimes we forget that we are storytellers, and it is a very boring story to say sap came out of trees. Much better to say manna fell from heaven. I mean, it's a better story, and so sometimes people are trying to, they're trying to make some sort of sense out of their world by telling stories, but also, we like telling stories, and there are elements to a good story that need to be there. And so some of that is just storytelling. And I think we forget that it is just storytelling.
Yeah. It's like books, theater, movies, sitting around a campfire. That's how it all started. We all sat around campfires back in the old days and told stories about things that we saw, including things like sea monsters or whatever. We came up with all kinds of crazy shit.
All right.
Yeah.
And monsters and
it's just a problem when they go on. Sorry.
I'll say, monsters and fictional things are much better than reality any day of the week. So
we're picking apples, so that's boring. Well, we did see a giant serpent. So
And that's all great. Stories are great. But now, it's only a problem because a lot of people are trying to turn it into ways to hurt people, right? So
yeah, I agree.
It's used as a weapon. It's used as a weapon instead of a tool. Like, well, look at it from just a storytelling perspective. It's a totally different thing, but it has been used as a weapon.
Well, I mean, politics is always a weapon, right? That's why we put, try to put as much restraint on the state as we can. Because the state is the organization with, or the person or organization with a legal right to kill you. Is about the only definition of government I've seen that actually works. That's pragmatic. So yeah, there's reasons for that. But all religion is ultimately about politics and power as well, right? If God is on your side, how can you not? You can't be defeated if God is on your side. So of course God is going to be on your side, and you're going to write even if you have to write the damn thing yourself, right?
I'm going to say 2 words. If you think God can't defeat you, iron chariots. That's all I can say.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
There you
iron
go.
chariots.
He has issues with those, apparently.
Yeah,
Iron chariots.
apparently.
Yeah.
It's like he's
And
going to
my
smite everyone, and he's like, oh, crap, they got iron chariots. Well, fuck it.
My last phase of deconstruction was metaphysics and manifesting and all that stuff.
Oh, boy.
Mhm.
Isn't it funny that people think they can manipulate the
I was in
universe?
that, and finally, after because I literally got told the same things that religion tells us. Oh, you didn't pray hard enough. Go in your prayer closet for 3 days. Go in your play. You'd have to pray harder. You didn't pray right. That's why it didn't happen. You didn't pray right. So in the metaphysical world, it was like, well, you have to do this thing with all your heart for 31 days, and then you'll get what you want.
Right. I've been trying to manifest a winning lottery ticket for years, and I still haven't got it.
Yeah. When I go and turn the key on my Jeep, I pray really hard and I think really hard, and it comes from my heart, so that when I turn it on, it turns on. Oh, wait, no, the laws of physics don't work that way.
Nope.
Time for a new battery.
I do not.
Yeah.
Or a starter or ignition coil or whatever.
Yeah, or gas pump, fuel pump.
Yeah.
Any of those things. Yeah. It's really simple, but it always works. Unless it's broken, and then we can fix it. So yeah. And that's the thing that probably bugs me about like spells and all the rest of it, is they either don't work, they either work in such mild ways as to be useless, to tell if they actually worked, or they just, there's no way for them to work, right? Saying you didn't do it right, well, then show me how to do it. And it should be repeatable, and no one has ever been able to repeat it. I don't know how many times I've asked people, if you're out there watching and you cast spells, cast anything you want at me. I don't give a shit, because we all know you're bullshit, you're full of shit, so go ahead, cast it, make my teeth fall out, I don't care. Make me go blinder than I already am. I have to wear glasses. I don't when I'm here because I can see up close just fine. So,
oh yes, Sarah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, do it. I double dare you. I double dog dare you.
Somebody tried it on me once, Jim. They took some of my hair. I'm like, oh, yeah, you can have a piece of my hair. I guess I pissed them off somehow. And they made a voodoo doll and put it on there, and they tried to break my arms, and I'm like, no, still functioning.
I will send you my hair. I'll send you a blood sample.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Double dog dare you.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Jim. I say the same thing. Go ahead. Oh, but I've adopted, I think it was Matt and Forrest who both said this, and I've adopted it now. Anytime somebody says, oh, I'm praying for you, I say, no, thanks.
I can't remember who responded this way, but my favorite one is, oh, you do that, and I'll talk to my cat for you. Expect the same results.
That's perfect.
Oh, I live in, Southern Alabama. I'm 2 hours north of the Gulf of Mexico, and an hour west of
Trump is
Georgia.
on the Epstein files.
Yeah, he is. He's all over them. That's the part of the problem. But anyway, so I have to be a little bit careful, because it's common to say have a blessed day instead of have a nice day, and they're literally meaning it is just have a nice day. And so I don't always it's not worth it to be snarky, because they're not trying to be. It's just a little rude. But if somebody's being, at the end of an intense discussion, and them putting them on their back heels because as they realize they have nothing to argue with. And I go, I'll pray for you. Yeah, I'll talk to my cat to you. Is perfectly appropriate, I think. But sometimes people are just
The
being
one
nice.
thing that I did, I'll stop. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Oh, well, I would say my feeling about have a blessed day is I don't have that much of a problem with that one, only because the word blessed, you can be like, I'm blessed with a good meal today, or whatever it is, right? And it's more of a poetic statement rather than a fully. I know they mean it religiously, but I can take that one
It's
and
a
kind of
colloquialism,
go,
basically.
and yeah, right. And I can take that less of a thing, but the praying bit is really very obvious.
Yeah, sometimes again, it's all context, right?
They want to waste their
Is
time.
really kind of what I'm advocating for is it's not worth your time to be an in-your-face atheist all the time. Sometimes you're going to do more harm than good being the angry atheist. So I pride myself that people are surprised. People who don't watch the shows and don't have, haven't seen me on the internet are very surprised that I'm an atheist. That is kind of my goal. It's like, oh, you're an atheist? Yeah. Oh, you don't act like an atheist. Yes, I do, because I am one. But
What do atheists act like?
Yeah.
Do we run around fingering the sky like, what the heck? Fuck you!
Right, exactly.
What do you do?
I'm not angry all the time. In fact, I'm
Fingering
almost
the
never
sky.
angry. So.
Jesus, Neil. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I go to a Seder, if I go to a temple and I'm around these conservative Jewish people, they all think, well, they know I'm not conservative. I'm obviously not. They know that, but they think I'm a believer. I don't care. I mean, it's just for me, it's just social. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing that the churches do really, really well is the social aspect of things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to a church to be social with people. And if you have to go through the ritual, go through the ritual. It sucks being alone. We're social creatures. It would be better, I think, to have other atheists around so you don't have to hide that part of yourself. It's always nice. The back cruise is happening this weekend, and there's a bunch of people out there who are able to let their hair down in ways that they can't at home. And that is really, really cool. And so being able to drop the pretense is nice. But if you can't, yeah, churches, go do the social stuff. They probably, if it's a big enough church, they won't even notice you're not going to church itself. So, it's a smaller church, you may have to go through the rituals, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just bite your tongue and
I
sit through
so,
it. Eat the
so
food
wish
after.
I could go to the back cruise. I so badly want to go. I'm so bummed.
I've yet to hit one of those too. So, but there's
next year.
Fucking way I'm going into the U.S. right now.
Yeah, or Texas.
Yeah.
Because and that really kind of shocked me because most Canadians are white, and I figured, ICE is very racist, but they've been screwing with Vancouverites coming across the border as well.
A couple have been locked up for a little bit. Mind you, they've been released, but still.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of them sent all the way to Texas?
Yeah, she's been released though. She's back now.
Okay.
And she's back she was on the news recently, told her story and whatnot. I'm just afraid if I go through there and they look at my phone, I'm going to fucking Guantanamo Bay or whatever, Alligator Alcatraz or something.
Well, they just opened up a new one at Fort Bliss too. So yeah.
I've heard this, people have told me too, and you have to carry a burner phone. You can't carry your phone if you travel.
Yes.
Don't even carry it.
Right. Use a burner phone. Which is something that you only needed to do if you went to China or Russia, and now you have to do it coming to the United States, and also hide all of your social media.
Yeah.
Because if you have any social media that's anti-Trump, they'll probably harass you at the border.
Well, TikTok already harassed me. I had a TikTok account for 5 years. I had about 25,000 followers. I was growing it, and a couple of months ago, TikTok totally they destroyed my account, fully destroyed it, because I've been very vocal about the facts, and they don't like that.
Yeah. And then you get the people who mass complain about stuff just because they can, and not because you're actually violating terms of service, and all that's an algorithm. So you get enough of them, and you get auto ban and stuff like that, which should not ever happen. But
I had an episode with TikTok just recently where I actually legitimately complained about somebody who was being racist and misogynistic in comments on somebody else's video, and I complained about that, and they came back to me saying, "Oh, we didn't see any breach of our terms of service." I'm like, "What? Would you like me to pull up the line that says they're not allowed to do that and then show you the comment again?"
It's just, yeah. It's,
like,
yeah, they're really bad. And I am certain that prior to, because I had new followers every day. At that point, I was getting a lot of new followers every day, but my numbers were not changing. So I am certain for at least 8 months, they were shadow banning me. And then finally, they just completely screwed me. It was really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, they were probably doing, some of that is a reaction to Trump trying to get rid of them, because it was a vocal platform that panned him quite a bit. I think if Blue Sky gets any more popular, that we'll start seeing attacks on Blue Sky as well. Although I think that may be harder to actually nail down, since there isn't really a company so much behind it. Maybe there is. I'd have to go look. But yeah, it's going to get harder he's going to try to make it harder to get on the internet and say things against him. But newsflash, dude, it's the internet. No. It was designed to get around blockades. So
yeah, I think the one thing that the big differential, the one thing that makes TikTok particularly unique, and it's unfortunate, is that none of the other platforms you can do up to 10-minute video on TikTok, and you can do it immediately, right? You just put the thing up and you go and you're done, and that's it. And none of the other platforms offer that. Instagram is still keeping you a minute or under, and you can't do it live. You have to post it. So,
well, YouTube does shorts and does long form content. So,
oh yeah, you know what?
There's more than just YouTube.
I probably.
Pardon?
I should probably. You're right. I haven't really looked into that, and I probably should as a replacement.
YouTube's big enough that it would be much harder in some ways to do that. So.
What, to shadow ban somebody, or to
well, no, to put pressure on them to shadow ban and to limit conversations or attempt to censor conversations. So, but
well, that's good to know. But they still do mess with your monetization, though, if you say certain things.
Yes, it's just like everywhere else, right? The attempts to keep us from crossing certain lines get stupid at times because it's just not intelligent. But AI will eventually start helping with that. I mean, AI won't be perfect for a long time, or won't be adequate for a long time, but they'll still try to use it. And it's not a bad thing. It's just going to take some time to train them and to get them to where they are actually working correctly. So
it will be dangerous first.
Well, that will always be the attempt. I think we're seeing that in Washington, D.C., where we have effectively martial law being attempted.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's clear that Trump doesn't know. Yeah, it's clear that Trump doesn't know what he's doing with the military anyway, because apparently he's floating the idea of using the Alabama National Guard as a quick reaction force, And it's like he doesn't know what the guard is or how they operate. They don't do long
Apparently.
term unless they're activated to do long term. Um, so he just doesn't understand it. I think what he's trying to do is get around posse comitatus by using the National Guard. But if he's directing the National Guard, they're federalized, which means posse comitatus applies. So
It's really terrifying and distressing and dismaying. And as a woman, I don't feel safe in this country, not only from the perspective of, well, my rights are being stripped away and they would like to stop me from voting and so many other things.
yeah, that's terrifying.
And the Christian national, and the Christian nationalist impetus mission is to put me back barefoot, popping babies, forced birth. They don't care. They want the forced birth to have the slaves, but they don't need the slaves for a full lifetime. So that's why
once they're out,
what happens to the life.
They don't care anymore.
Once it's gone, once the child, once the child's born, they just say, "Oh well, you're a good slave for a while, and then you die whenever you die. It's fine."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's also why they're attacking education as well, right? Because an uneducated population is easy to manipulate and easy to turn into what would be effectively slaves. So,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, they're clearly not pro-life.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need people to live long. They just what they need is just more slaves come in, die. Born, do enslavement, then die. They don't. One thing that I am noticing in these conversations that I always kind of yell at the screen is the reference to God. The reference to the Christian God and the reference to the Islamic God and many of the gods. The male, it's male, he, this, yeah. And so I keep saying, okay, look. First of all, we don't agree that there is such a thing. There is no evidence to support the existence of said being, and so we don't have to. It doesn't have to have a sex either, Anyway, that's just my thing. As a woman, I'm tired of hearing like he, this, Anyway, but.
Well, there are lots of belief systems that have female deities and have for thousands of years. But the modern ones, of course, were taken over by misogyny. So you got all of a sudden, like they don't even mention Asherah, which is actually the wife of Yahweh, apparently. So why even bring her up, right? The closest they get is the Mary figure, right? So.
Yes. Yes, and Asherah.
But in the Old Testament, you got to remember, in the Old Testament, women weren't told not to preach. They were given time to preach. Like look at Mary Magdalene or whatever the hell, or not her, but also Esther and other female role models in the Old Testament for sure were had a voice and were listened to. That kind of changed when things started blurring out and becoming Christianity or whatnot.
But they were still subjugated to the men anyway. They did not have independence.
Yep. Ruth, skeptic philosophy. Ruth was another one.
And then a lot of them, in a lot of ways, like they exist, and you can find writings about them, but they're very muted. And then there's the other thing about how many women are represented in the Old Testament as the temptress and the representation of evil, all that stuff.
Yeah. Eve, as a matter of fact, bringing sin into the world.
Yep, that's right.
If she ate the fruit,
it's all her fault. And Wes says, "Don't forget Jezebel."
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's it.
Samson
it sucks.
And then also, go on.
I was just mentioning Samson and Delilah in our list of women who are portrayed as evil.
Yeah, and then there was not Hecate. Sorry, no. Somebody with an H. I'm forgetting her name now, but there's a woman H. H-E something, but I'm losing her name. Who was the one who was the prostitute who betrayed? She ended up betraying the army. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm just trying to get it back. It's an Old Testament story where these men, two or three men, are sent out to scout, and then they go and they see the prostitute.
Oh, she was a prostitute. She was a prostitute for the enemy city. She betrayed the enemy city.
Yeah. But her name was an H name, I think. Something. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
H-E or H something with a Z, possibly. Oh, it's driving me crazy. But, yeah. And then the more commonly known one is, Lot's wife. Like, she turned around to look at losing her home, and then that was it. She's a pillar of stone.
Rahab. R-A-H-A-B.
I knew there was an H-A in there. Yes, Rahab.
Oh, yeah, Rahab. Rahab, she was a Canaanite woman.
I think Bree beat
often
me
referred
to. I think Bree beat me to it in the chat.
Yeah, I think so. Rahab was often referred to as zonah, which means whore or prostitute.
Yeah. My mother loved to, not that this necessarily is connected, but my mother loved to tell me the story of Abednego, Meshach, what is it? Ishak, Meshach, and Abednego. I'm getting the names wrong. Oh, God.
Asok?
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, the three guys who
were in the fire.
Yeah, I can't think of their names either. I'm not that good on my Bible. Not a Bible expert.
Abednego was one of them. It was Meshach, Meshach, and Abednego, I think, something like that.
Something like that.
And they were burned alive. My mother loved it. She loved to tell me that story. It's insane.
And if prostitution is such a bad thing, why did God allow Abraham to tell the Egyptians that Sarah was his sister, not his wife? And because she was so charming, he ended up with flocks and all kinds of riches because of her. That sounds like prostitution to me. I don't know. I can't imagine the Egyptians, given their reputation, were just charmed by her conversational skills.
I would have to agree.
So apparently prostitution's okay.
On the point of that.
And also lying is okay because Abraham lied. Sorry, I keep cutting it out by accident.
So the names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, whatever.
Abednego.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Abednego. Yeah, there you go. Whatever. I don't really remember.
Abednego. I think it was Abednego. Whatever.
Abednego. And there was another prostitute in the Old Testament too, from the book of Hosea.
Say that again. In the book
There's another prostitute from the Hosea with an H.
Hosea.
Gomer was married to Hosea in the book of Hosea. And she was used to symbolize the relationship with God and Israel or something like that. So, yeah.
I also have adopted, as Forrest calls it, the Bronze Age sex manual. I think that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
For the Old Testament. Because then there was the other one. Was it Lot's daughters who slept with him? Is that what happened?
Yes.
All of them did. They got him drunk and slept with him. Yeah.
Jesus.
That's moral.
So, sure.
Yeah, that's one I pull out all the time when they go on about morality. You can't be moral with it if you're an atheist. I'm like, oh yeah, like your books promotes morality. Like here's this and here's this and here's this. And fuck you.
It doesn't even technically ban lying.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what you said, Jim, Abraham it wasn't even one time. He was told, quote, by God, to lie and cheat on multiple occasions, not just one.
Well, yeah, that was all one. I mean, that was one long prostitution event, right? Because he wasn't there for a day or two. He was there for, I don't know how long he was there, but yeah.
And then God rewarded him for having lied and cheated and done all this stuff. And then the business about the 7 years with Isaac and then right.
I'll just say something.
He was rewarded for this. Yeah.
Skeptic philosopher mentioned that Rahab is called a Isha Zona, which, there it is in Hebrew, Isha Zona. I can read Hebrew, which is kind of
prostitute or innkeeper or hostess.
Right.
I'll tell you what. Of that word.
When I lived in Israel, if somebody said to you, "You ben zona," means you're a son of a whore. Literally, that's what that means. So, ben meaning son, and zona meaning whore, son of a whore. So, and I got called that a lot. So.
Did you really?
I would imagine.
Lechtizen ben zona. It's like go. Lechtizen literally means go to fuck. So
yeah.
Basically, fuck off is what it is. Lechtizen ben zona, like that.
I was going to ask you, is that the idiomatic? It's like go fuck yourself or go fuck off? Yeah, okay.
Go to fuck, like get the fuck out, like go away, fuck off, that kind of thing.
Right, fuck off. Got it. Yeah. I'm going to make a mental note of Ben Zona, though. I'm going to keep that one if I need to.
Ben Zona?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes entertaining to watch apologists attempt to translate Old Hebrew using modern concepts, and it's like, no, you can't. Years ago when I was in
with me, Wes, because I can't be here for the 16th. It's my sister's birthday. I told you that.
I think he was talking to Mikey Famine.
Right, but did he want to put Mikey with me, because Mikey hasn't done one with me in a while. So and I put that in the calendar. I said I can't do the 16th. It's my sister's birthday dinner, so I can't really do that. Dan McLeod. Dan's a great guy. Dan McLeod was on my show a little while back. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Mormon kid.
He's the oddball who sounds like, when you listen to him talk about the Bible, he should be an atheist, but he's actually Mormon, if I remember correctly.
He's a Mormon, yeah. He's a Mormon. Yeah.
At least he's honest.
Did you say
I don't know how he gets to Mormonism from what he says about the Bible and what he believes is a biblical scholar, but at least he's honest about it.
Yep. It's okay.
Because
my birthday,
I like listening to him.
I have my birthday this month.
You what?
I have my birthday this month.
Oh,
really?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Another trip around the sun, so they say.
Yeah.
Another trip around the sun, yeah. I am perpetually fascinated with, I think I'm probably the most frustrated when I listen to calls and coming in of the simple thing of saying, if I give you a premise and we say we agree upon said premise, then I need a yes or no answer to said question, and you cannot get.
Oh.
And it's yeah. Amazing.
And you, because they know and you know what's coming next usually, right? It's some sort of contradiction that they now have to explain. And it's just, and they don't want to do it, and they realize what position they're putting themselves into by saying yes or no, by answering the question, because they know what's about to come next. If you nail somebody down on an example I used earlier, is it just to convict somebody of a crime if the evidence only applies to half of the population? And once they say no to that, Now you have them in this logical trap of, okay, what about bleeding on the first time you have sex for women only happens to 50% of women? What about this now? Is that just? And now they're in a corner, and they may not know which example you're going to use, but they can see the example coming and they just don't want to go there. But you walk them down the path, and here they are with this logical contradiction that they've got to justify in their head, and they don't want to. And yeah, it is frustrating, but it's frustrating to be in the call from just a trying to advance the conversation point of view. But I'm never having that type of debate for the person I'm talking to. There are so many Christians who watch our shows. That's who I'm talking to.
Mhm.
I want them to answer that question, not necessarily the person I'm talking to. So that makes it a little bit better. And, we get so many, in the atheist experience, we get so many letters, email of people who have deconverted because of an argument that went that way, right?
Yeah.
We mentioned, Dan from Truth Wanted. He's one of them.
Prime example.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think it's more frustrating if it's a one-on-one conversation. There's no audience of Christians listening, or theists listening. It's less frustrating when there's that audience. At least for me. I don't know about anybody else.
It's just tough. Okay. So I guess I'm in a small population. I'm in a minority, let's say, in that people used to say this to me when I was, was, are you that precise? I said, yes, I'm that precise because words matter, and it matters what we say, and it matters how we talk about things, and that's why. And so I listen to these conversations, and I just, my head starts to explode with like, listen, but I think part of the reason, another reason, in addition to what you're saying, which of course it is the avoidance. Like if you bring me to this point where I give you a yes or no answer, now I know that I cannot go any further. Like we can't go any further with this because it's
Right.
done. There is no argument. There is no defense. But the other one I think of is
I say that all the time.
Obviously, obviously the person doesn't want to admit it to themselves. Okay. And then there's the next level of the person also probably hasn't considered the fact that, listen, this may be uncomfortable, but the conversation is worthy because of expanding your mind. You could still hold on to your belief, however foolish it may be, but you could still also have the conversation and answer the question honestly. You could answer that yes that you don't want to say, and you could still say, I still believe what I believe. Well, what's the reason? Well, because I want to. Okay, well, I can't argue with that, right?
Yes,
if you're saying you want to believe that because you want, okay, all right.
Not because it's true. It makes them feel good and they want to believe it.
Right, but they need that thing about being right too.
Well, it's not just being right for a lot of Christians. I'm going to pick on Christians in particular because that's mostly who I talk to on the shows. Their whole identity and who they are is wrapped up in this concept of them being a Christian. And so when you back them into this corner where they have to admit something that they can't admit to themselves, you're winning at that point. You don't need to get them to agree with you. You just need to back them into that corner enough time, and it needs to happen to them enough times they begin to think about it, right? You've planted that seed of doubt. Hopefully you've got them thinking about stuff. You can see that sometimes on repeat callers where they're calling in and it's a different thing this time. And, they get backed into another corner and they get backed into another corner. And sometimes you can just hear it in their voices like they're on their way now. They may never call in again. We may never get an email from them. We may never get that satisfaction of that. But, sometimes backing them into that corner is all you need to do. You don't need to get the answer. And you're not going to get that answer because they've got to unwind themselves from this Christian identity of who they are
It's not always easy.
And yeah, that's not easy, right? I mean, you wrote an entire book about it, so but yeah, so you've got to get them to do that, and that's not always going to happen in a single conversation.
Yeah. I've spoken to so many people about exactly that, and it's not always easy.
No, and I had a easier time because I was already not cool with things I was reading.
Right.
But then
me too.
I'm also, yeah, I'm not the average person, right? I'm the one that's going, oh, hang on a moment. Excuse me, what did you,
Describe
like this.
average. Define average.
Yeah. And, most Christians,
I'll say this. In the sort of statistical majority, if you go into a community and you take the statistical majority of, say, said church, there's going to be a majority of people who get their community, their socializing, their everything is happening for them in the right. So the identity is, hey, I don't want to lose my friends. Hey, I don't want to lose my, and so there's a conflation. It's a bigger trap, or it's a more difficult trap because all of these other tendrils hold on in addition to, and I didn't have those tendrils. So that's like,
yeah. And sometimes people have been so brutalized into believing that it's even harder for them, right? Because there is a level of brainwashing that happens. And that's going to be hard. And then if you're with a religious community that actively shuns, that makes it even more difficult. And all these things are by design. I use the word design loosely because I don't, you go back, if you go back far enough, you're not applying modern psychology to, we have a lot of really good terms. We have a lot of explanations of what is happening inside people's heads that they didn't have back then. So it was, by design, is more like by trial and error. They figured out what worked to keep people believing. And so, that is
threat of
definitely
damnation's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fear of hell. The fear of hell is a big one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the
I've
things
talked to many
found...
atheists who've been atheists for decades and still have nightmares about hell.
I was just going to say that too. I think that's one of the most common things from their belief systems that stick with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Eventually, many of them finally give up on it, but it can cling for a long time.
That was part of my fear. That was part of my fear with it. That was part of my fear. And struggle with the stuff in the Bible. It was like, whoa, if I don't go with this, then I have to burn in hell. Like, what?
Well, in Judaism, there really isn't a hell. So,
Right. Yeah, that's a whole Christian post first, second, I think third, fourth centuries when it became popular. I forget.
Something like that.
It took a little while.
There's a lot of influence from Dante's Inferno or some shit, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And lots of it had some influence, but I don't think hell, he wrote that because hell was already a concept at that part.
Correct, yes. But I think it evolved, especially the fire part, because there's multiple levels to Dante's hell, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Burning in an eternal sea of fire. What a forever fucking punishment for a finite crime? What the hell kind of bullshit?
Infinite punishment for a finite crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not justice.
Yeah, and what's the other one? If you don't believe, so we have, of course, the varying opinions that will come up. I ask the questions. They ask the question of someone who is, say, a believer, and I don't know if there's a big differential between Muslimism and Christianity on this point. If you don't believe, some people believe if you don't believe, then you're hellbound, and then some people will say, oh no. It's an interpretation. You're not really hellbound. It's just the hell is the separation from God.
Right.
Or whatever.
I think it's safe to say that most first and second century Christians would find most Christians living in 2025 to be heretics in their beliefs, which I think says a lot about how truthful the Christianity is. You know, we can also go to the 1,000 or so denominations, and I say a lot of people say 10,000 denominations. I say 1,000 because that's kind of what, if I had to prove it, I could. But 10,000 is probably not unreasonable either. When you figure that, you know, the First Baptist Church of New York is not the same. It has a name in common with the First Baptist Church of Charlotte, but they may believe very different things, even though they're all part of, you know, the Baptists. So.
Yeah,
saying 10,000 is probably not too off.
No, you're right. There are big differences between
Yeah.
The other one,
but I mean that all just speaks to the fact that there is no God, and that the Bible is not the truth of Him speaking to it. Because why would you want to speak in such a way that generates so much confusion? Oh, wait, God's the author of confusion. Never mind. He wants that. How is that benevolent?
But I thought he was not the
who
author of confusion. I'm confused.
Yeah.
but then also the book itself, right, is among many things, it is a collection of things that have been edited and changed and rearranged and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And there are also at least 200,000 unique versions of the book. At least 200,000. If probably way more than that, probably 500,000 is close to correct. And right. And then also that transcribes how many times? How many, that 100, who knows? And then different languages, right? So like the Aramaic is a dead language. We don't even have real references, right? And then and ancient Hebrew and Greek and everything.
Blood descendant of Cleopatra, really? Eh? Oh, that's interesting.
You look at the King James Bible, where the King James Bible doesn't mention slaves, it always mentions servants, and yet everywhere it mentions servant, you've got to translate that as slave, because that's what they were talking about. But that interpretation of the Bible doesn't support that, the view that there were slaves. And that's because slavery is bad, and we recognize that. And so a God who is omnibenevolent can't possibly support slavery, and yet he does.
Allegedly omnibenevolent.
Allegedly. Yeah, really. But even not just, it's beyond support. It's direct instructions as to how to do slavery, and direct instructions on how to sex traffic and human traffic.
Yeah.
And they just are not portable. It's not,
well-known author. Anyway, also, it's a contradiction to be omnipotent and omnibenevolent. You can't be all powerful and all loving. It doesn't work that way. You can't be all just either.
Well, not in the world as it exists today, right? If the world was just, however you want to define that word, then you could make the claim that there's an omnibenevolent God, and that would indicate that was also omnipresent or omniscient, because he would know when people were doing things that were bad, and he had the power to change the universe, to do something about it. Free will does not get you out of omnipotence, unless you're going to claim that putting people in prison violates their free will, which it doesn't. They can still do whatever they want in prison. They're just doing it someplace, that is going to hurt society as badly. Or killing people. Is that a violation of free will? If that's a violation of free will, then God doesn't care about free will, because he flooded the planet, according to your book. So where do you go with this, right? With free will, the free will argument just falls apart every time you look at it. And then that's not counting God hardening Pharaoh's heart and overriding Pharaoh's free will, that very specific instance of him doing that. So you can't say
Yep.
he wants free will.
No, certainly. But also, what did you make me think of?
I don't know.
No, related to this free will question and related to the concept of an omnibenevolence, omnipotence, and the conflict between them. I heard a caller recently say, God is balanced. And so it was like, well, you can't, is it omnipotent? Is God, is this an omnipotent being? Yes, and balance. And that is contradictory because you cannot have, right? Balance requires two sides, right? A binary, whatever. So omnipotence is a one thing.
Well, I can balance 4 different points on a single point if I want to, if I know how to, right? Like I could take 4 pencils and balance them on another pencil in just the right way using physics. So it's not necessarily two.
People
Are you
balance.
saying it's an omnipotent quality?
Hey, I'm pretty
Well, he'd have the power
That's
to, but what Neil's talking about is probably omniscience, knowing how to do the balancing act so that the laws of physics aren't broken. Omnipotence would be, I could do this despite the laws of physics.
Right.
But that's why I'm saying that there's sort of a contradiction. If you want to say balance requires two opposite and equal things.
I'm not saying anything's in balance. I'm saying that justice is not necessarily balance, right? I'm deliberately not defining justice. That's why I said however you want to define justice. That's up to you. We just don't have it in this world. So in this universe.
No, we don't. But I was saying that the caller had called in and said her definition of God, or she proves God. She was like saying, I'm proving that God is a real being because God is, and she was saying, I'm defining God as balanced and omnipotent. And those two things logically conflict.
Yeah.
No, balance literally means an even or equal distribution of weight, basically.
Right. Yeah, and that doesn't work either because what do you mean by balance? What is in balance? Is good and evil in balance a good thing or a bad thing? If you have evil, right? What was the saying in Witcher? Choosing the lesser of two evils is still choosing evil. Where does balance come into this? Why do you need balance? Why do you need good and evil?
Agreed. But that was kind of the problem. That's why it was problematic, as she was saying that. And I don't think she fully explained what she meant by balance. So I could only guess, sort of extrapolate what she was trying to say. But it seemed like what she was intending was balanced as in the best thing to be is balanced, as in you have a balance of, I don't know, qualities. But omnipotence is a one-note quality. It's a one-note characteristic. It's a one thing. It's not a multitude. It's not a harmonization of things. It's a one thing, unless you would define it differently.
I'm not sure what point you're trying to make, honestly. One thing, omnipotent is all powerful, as long as it's not logically contradiction. So you can't make a square circle. Lifting something so heavy.
As in it's one thing. It's one characteristic. It is all powerful. It's one characteristic.
Right. Yeah. You could have an all powerful God with none of the other two characteristics, and we may or may not know. Right. This world may be designed by someone who's not omnibenevolent, which is why there's the world, the universe we live in is not benevolent. Right. That could exist.
Right.
Right. It's only when you bring in all three together. In fact, any two of the three could possibly exist. And that could, but all three is logically impossible.
Yeah, omnipotent and omnibenevolent cannot coexist.
Well, you could say that you have an omnipotent and omnibenevolent God who doesn't know where evil is happening, and so can't act on all evil in the world.
Right. Okay. Yes.
As soon
So
as you
anyway,
take away one of them, it becomes possible for that God to exist. Not probable, I don't think, but possible.
Logically, yes. If you were talking pure logic.
Logically impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not giving any credence to this imaginary being.
Well, we were talking about being the God of confusion. Here's a fun one. If you are a Bible literalist, what can you eat? So, according to
God.
Leviticus 9:12, you can't eat shellfish or anything else that doesn't have fins and scales. You can't eat lobster,
Right.
shrimp, oysters, etc. Romans 14 says you can eat anything. Genesis 9:3 also clearly says you can eat anything. Mark 7:19 says that. Deuteronomy is back to listing things you can't eat, including shellfish and pigs. And Colossians is back to eat anything. Yeah. So if we add all these up,
to be honest.
yeah. So if we add these up, you get Romans 14, Genesis 9:3, Mark 7:19, and Colossians 2:16, which says you can eat anything, and Leviticus 9:12 and Deuteronomy 14, which says you can't. So that would be 4 against 2. So just by weight of number of quotes in the Bible, you'd say you can eat anything, except Romans, Mark, and Colossians are all New Testament. Whether or not the NT overrides the OT depends on how you interpret Matthew 5:17 and Galatians 3:23 through 25. Right? So if the New Testament, since 3 of those are New Testament, and New Testament doesn't override the Old Testament, you throw those 3 out, and now you're left with 2 verses 1. Is this confusing yet? It's confusing to me. I have no idea. But oh, wait, Colossians and Paul is considered to be a forgery by most Bible scholars. So now where are we in this? And then why is it 4 eat anything and 2 restricted? This makes no sense.
Also, if you to the question about did the New Testament override the Old Testament, according to the words attributed to somebody named Jesus, a character named Jesus, he showed up to say, not a jot or tittle of the law will be changed. I have come to fulfill the law,
right,
not change it. So now if you want to say, oh, well, the Old Testament said no shellfish and no pigs.
Right. Well, no. So this gets confusing. If we throw out the New Testament quotes, we're left with Genesis 9:3 saying you can eat anything, and Leviticus 9:12 and Deuteronomy 14 saying you can't. So we're now 2-1. It still doesn't clear the question up, right? The only way you can tell is by going, oh, how many quotes support my position? So yeah, that's why I brought up Matthew 5:17 and Galatians 3:23 through 25. Because those are the quotes that basically, either throw out you can interpret to throw out or include the Old Testament, depending on how you wanted to interpret it. So it doesn't matter how you interpret it. You still cannot give me a clear-cut, definitive answer as to whether or not I can eat lobster or pig from the Bible. It's not definitive. The only thing you can do is weigh up the quotes, is how many quotes for one and how many quotes for the other. That's not reasonable.
Yeah. Just take a vote.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's how most Christians decide what's in the Bible. They stack up how many quotes they have, and whoever has the most quotes wins.
Wait a second, though. I thought the Christians today didn't want voting anymore. They were trying to get rid of it all, weren't they?
Well, so you can't get to democracy or a republic from the Bible because God appoints kings. He doesn't appoint presidents or prime ministers.
There you
He
go.
appoints kings.
There
So,
were no
Yes,
yeah.
don't
prime
kill enough
ministers at the time.
people, he switches you out for another king. You know, Saul and David, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he doesn't like you, doesn't like what you're doing, he will simply kick you to the curb, bring in another one. That's what he's supposed to do, right? He's God. He knows what's best for us, and highly authoritarian government structures work. And yes, every king believes in God.
We cannot, in our lowly state, we cannot know the great wisdom of the God that says that all this genocide needs to happen now because it's for the greater good, and the rape has to happen because it's for the greater good. And yeah,
must be why those thousands and thousands of kids have been molested by the very preachers that claim to speak for this entity and have gotten away with it for so long, and he didn't step in at all. That's the biggest killer for me.
25,000 people starve to death every day. But that's in the greater perfect plan of the perfect God that nobody knows how to. No one.
Nobody can describe it. Everyone has a different idea of what a God is, and yada yada. I know that's just adds to the mythology of the whole thing. It's all the mythology.
If that wasn't true, we wouldn't have as many denominations of Christianity as we do.
Correct. And
it's not just Christianity. I mean, Islam has at least 2 major sects. Buddhism has at least 2 major sects. Maybe I don't know of any religion that doesn't have a bunch of sects to it. So. It's
weird.
I would be surprised to find. I would be surprised to find one that.
Apparently, Mikey Famine is a god.
Which one is it? Which one is a god?
My co-host, Mikey Famine, not on this show, on my show.
Oh, Mikey Famine.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Mikey's a god.
So is Doug. So Doug is a god too, right?
Okay. Oh hell yeah!
I am a god-eating hippo. Your God can't exist because I'm a god-eating hippo. They taste good with a little bit of Tabasco. Of course, everything tastes good with a little bit with enough Tabasco.
Well, you should go into Catholic Church this week and bring some Tabasco sauce, and when they give you Jesus's body, put some Tabasco on it.
Yeah. Can I add a little hot sauce to the Jesus parts here? Is that okay?
Don't tempt me with a good time. I'm actually considering it.
That would be glorious. You just bring a little tiny, those little airplane bottle Tabascos you can get.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Bring a little mini bottle, and when they give you the host, just sprinkle the host with the Tabasco, and it's good, much better, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
And when you drink the blood, ask if you can have another glass. Can I get another cup?
Yeah. Can I have a shot with this, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah, I want mine in a shot glass.
I need to power this down for my
Blasphemer!
Blasphemer.
That's Frank's Red Hot. Come on.
That wine is just not any good. There's no way I'd want any more than I wouldn't even know. It's not even good wine. It's horrifyingly bad.
It's not even good wine. It's true.
It's cheap.
It's not even good wine. But that's
wine I love.
Creepy thing about
Passover.
Drinking the blood, like was symbolically drinking the blood of the god, and
Christianity's got a form of cannibalism. It's a blood religion,
That's right.
Totally blood. Oh, on the point of blood sacrifice, you must know The Old Testament is full. It's like incredibly bloody. Like they spill the blood of the animal all over the altar.
Yep.
I mean, those
That's
people must have
bullshit.
done something horrible.
Yeah, blood magic is a powerful thing, apparently. Again, if you can use blood magic, do what you want. Prove it.
Seriously, do a spell. I'll take it. Whatever. Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm doing that because I don't believe you can. So the only way you can call in and protest all you want, but do your worst or your best. I don't care. Go either way. If you don't want to do your worst, do your best. I would like $1 million in my account. Let me know how to do that.
Exactly. Pray
Rob
for
a
me to
bank.
win the lottery tomorrow. I'll take it.
Well, the lottery, I mean, I would just like $1 million to appear in my bank. I don't want it to be from the lottery because, unless it was a lottery ticket I didn't buy, I didn't know I owned or something along those lines. But if I go and buy a lottery ticket, it's a non-zero
emails
chance
like
that I'm
that.
going to win. So that wouldn't do it for me. But yeah, just pray $1 million into my bank account. Because after all, the Bible says whatever you pray for, God will provide. He's a giant vending machine. Yeah.
Speaking of vending machines.
Yeah, God, that's basically what he sets himself up as in the Bible is vending machine. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you pray in the right way, say the right words.
Yes, perfect point. That no, I won't buy a ticket because I might have something to do with it. So yeah, just pray for it to appear in my account and we're good.
Yep.
I even got my 10 shekels. 10 shekels for an old ex-slipper. Ex-slipper?
10 shekels.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you?
God
I mean,
damn.
we used to get, of course, the chocolate gold coins.
Yes, Hanukkah gelt. They called that.
Yeah, the gelt. We would get the gelt.
I remember my mom told me.
My
mom told me one time when I was little, when we went grocery shopping, I tried to pay for something with one of those things. I don't remember, but apparently I pulled out a couple. I want to buy something, and I gave her these 2 chocolate coins, and it was like a thing of gum, like you remember the zebra stripe gum they used to have, that gum that would hold its flavor for about 9.5 seconds.
Juicy fruit, yeah.
And then and the lady behind the counter apparently said okay, and she took the 2 candies, and I had the gum, and my mom was giggling, and the lady was giggling, and I was like chewing gum because I paid for it with my own chocolate money. Damn it!
Yeah,
it's so cute. That's adorable.
Yeah.
I always
I've been called worse.
Parents, when the kid pulls out their 2 pennies and goes, "Can I buy a candy bar with this?" and the parent goes, "Yes." It's like, why are you lying to your kid? That's not good.
Well, it's just a cutesy moment, I guess. And they liked it.
You have a misconception going forward. In Germany, there's a marzipan. I think they do it around. I think they do it around Christmas time.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% on this. It might not be. But it's called the Geldscheisse, and it's made of marzipan, and it's a figurine of a man who is literally
in the shape of poop.
Hitting gold. And
what? Oh, I thought you were going to say he was made of poop or something. Like it's shaped like poop. Because
no, he's made of marzipan. They're made of marzipan.
No, I get it. But you can make marzipan look like anything. So they make him pooping gold.
Oh, no. They make him pooping gold, and it's supposed to be good luck that you give it to someone. So you give the Geldscheisse to someone, the gold shitter.
Und das ist Geldscheisse. Oh. I wish I could Geldscheisse. Are you kidding me? That'd be awesome. Gum thief. Sorry, I'm reading the chat there. Some funny comments going on in there.
Yeah, we're chewing on the gum jokes, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to blow. Never mind. Never mind.
They don't make zebra gum anymore, do they?
No, zebra stripe, they don't make it.
I've never.
But
I've never
an entire truckload of that shit would hold its flavor for about an hour. So it's like those things were terrible. They
Yeah.
lost their flavor
Yeah.
right away. Fruit stripe. That's it. Fruit stripe right there. Fruit stripe.
Fruit stripe. That's it. That was yes.
I remember that. But they had the zebra on the package. It was a little zebra character on there.
Yes.
Oh wow! It was produced from 1960 until 2024.
Yeah. Yeah. They stopped making it.
Just last year. That sucks.
It's funny because I've never seen them around. That's
Yeah, they must have
interesting.
gotten less and less popular. Because they were things they put at the cash registers, so it wasn't like you went and bought it off the candy aisle necessarily.
Well, it's always my favorite. I remember liking it as a kid because it tasted great for a bit, and then I just swallowed it. And you remember your parents would tell you, "Oh, you shouldn't swallow gum; it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years." It's nonsense. It doesn't do that. There's lots of things like that they told you that aren't fucking true. You can eat and then go swimming.
Well,
it's okay. As a matter of fact, swimming Olympic swimmers do that.
Yeah. And if you hold your
make a face and somebody
long
slaps
enough,
you, it won't
will
stay
get
that
stuck
way. Don't
that
worry. Well, I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you there. Go ahead.
Okay, if you hold your face for too long that way, it will stay that way.
Right. I said the same thing, right? We've said the same thing at the same time. Yeah, it won't do that. Your face has motor muscle memory or whatever, so it's automatically going to go back to resting bitch face once again. Yes.
Or in Trump's case, ass-licking face. So yeah,
sphincter face. That's what I call it.
Yeah, sphincter.
That's it. Perfect. Yeah, sphincter.
Well, it has to be.
Well,
every time that sphincter loosens, shit comes out of his mouth. So clearly, it's a sphincter.
Yeah, or else we could call Fat Nixon Pervert Hoover. I like that one too.
Well, he's looked like he's lost a little weight, I'll be honest.
What, from 500 pounds to 495, please?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to pick on someone because of their weight.
No.
But him, on the other hand, I'll pick on him for any reason.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He should be locked in a rape cage for the remainder of his disgusting existence.
It's too good for him. I think they should put him in a trash
compactor.
Just get whatever they can out of him chemically and get rid of the rest.
Yeah, except that he wouldn't suffer. And really, what I want to see him suffer for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not that vengeful. I just want to see him go away. I mean, we could erase him from history and no one would notice.
Yeah, but he raped E. Jean Carroll and he did all these horrible things. And, you know, as a woman, I've been through being assaulted and I would like to see him suffer.
Yeah, and I get that feeling. I'm just, honestly, if you keep him around suffering just to suffer, it's keeping him around too long. But no, I get the you know, and if we could figure out a way to do it, I might even support it. But honestly, just make him go away. He's just so horrible.
Yeah, I would.
He brings out the worst.
I would agree with you that.
Why is everybody so quiet?
Are you still there?
Because I was being quiet.
No, I would agree that the primary objective is to get rid of him, and then once he's gotten rid of, then can I watch him be tortured? I would like that. Anyway, yes.
Be very, very quiet. We're hunting fight twains. Oh, look. Twain twacks. Anyway, no, I think we should just get whatever we can out of him chemically, like all the chemicals in his body, probably somewhere around the range of about $150. We could use that, right? That's about.
Do you really think there's anything worth anything in there?
Yeah, his chemical elements are worth probably around 150 to 160 bucks, depending on what he's eaten that day.
Okay.
That's the average chemical value of
What do
any
you
human
think,
being.
Tim?
Well, technically, it's
Do
anywhere from
you think
$1
he's
to
got any heavy
$160.
metals in him to harvest?
Yeah, heavy metal. Whee! Oh, sorry. I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, there's enough. I forget. Somebody's
Take
done the
a
calculation to
ride,
figure out how many people you'd have to kill to make a weapon out of the blood of your enemies.
Well, I mean, if the enemies are
That's a good one.
carrying something in that blood, that's already a weapon. You just got to smear it on somebody.
Yeah. Well, his would be poisoned, wouldn't it?
Are we getting into toilet humor?
The crap
Maybe,
he
Wes.
eats.
That
I'm just
crappy
like the crap that he eats. He's got to be radioactive. I would think. I don't know.
No, I mean, we don't eat that. I don't know of anything we eat that's actually radioactive, but I mean,
No, I mean what he eats.
yeah.
I'm saying what he
Well,
eats.
I mean, he eats probably McDonald's or whatever. Still, I mean, that's his big thing because his thing about that is nobody knows which burger is going to which person, so they can't spit in it. My understanding is that is the reasoning he gave.
So, one of our co-people here on the show mentioned something that's also quite important because we should really call for Bill Clinton's arrest as well, and he's a Democrat, right?
Well, so I will point out one difference. Trump is an adjudicated rapist, so he actually went to trial. Clinton has not, and if there's sufficient good evidence, I don't know of any Democrat who would say, no, don't try him if there's sufficient good evidence to, warrant a trial, then by all means, try him too. He's not above the law. None of them are.
Certainly. Yeah, exactly. And there are Democrats that are on the Epstein list as well, so.
Yeah. Try them too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bill Gates is on that list. I think he's only on once. And
yep. Clinton is
could
too.
someone who's on the, and I mentioned Bill Gates, but let's ignore I said that for a second. Anybody who's on there once could make the claim, legitimately, I think, that they didn't know, and that's why they never went back. But why didn't you report it to the authorities? That would be the next question, right?
That's the problem. Yeah, exactly.
So
Absolutely.
But yeah, fry them all. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're Democrats. I don't care if they're Republicans. The list is out there. Fry them. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree absolutely. And but for us to have that level of honesty, right? We could basically almost every person would have to be replaced in the government. Almost every person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and right.
Let's do it.
I mean, I'm with you. Like, okay, and then, but sadly, the likelihood of that is so tiny. It's so minuscule as to be almost zero, which is very disappointing.
I think that somebody's going to leak it at some point. Somebody has to leak it at some point. Biden has a really good excuse. The judge forbid him from doing, forbid the release of the files until after the trial. I don't know when the trial started, but for that trial period, okay. But the Epstein files should just be released, and hopefully the next president will actually do it. But who knows?
Well, yeah. But any person who's got half of a working brain cell that they're actually utilizing knows that the redactions, the 100,000 pages of redactions of the rapist in chief's name, everybody knows he's all over that thing. So,
well, yeah.
Even if it were never released, anybody with half of a working, honest brain cell is going to say, yes, we know you're on there and you should be completely locked away forever, or removed fully. But these people, they're all getting paid to keep this going. They're all getting paid to keep this going. And I'm amazed at the absence of critical thinking of so many people in this country who refuse to just call it for what it is.
Well, so what's interesting is that when you look at the poll numbers, a lot of MAGA folk are turning against Trump because of his stance on the Epstein files. And I think they know that he was going to be on them. I don't think they knew at the time. We found out a lot more in the last, since Trump took office about his involvement with Epstein than we did before, and that's on our media, who should have done a better job of investigating all of that and getting that information out there. But I think that this is he's got a lower poll. He has lower approval numbers now than he did when he took office by a lot.
Yes.
So, and we're starting to see that backlash, right?
I'm sorry, go on.
I say we're starting to see the backlash, and a lot of it is predicated on the Epstein files.
Granted, and hopefully your assertion, bears out further. But sadly, what we're also seeing is these people are continuing to prop all of this up because they're all being paid. And even if he was removed, Vance is even worse. That is an unimaginable reality that you could say that Vance is worse than Satan himself. But yeah, so even if he's gotten rid of, there are all these other people that are fully invested in the payout they're getting to keep this going. Yeah.
So the Justice Department, Shapiro, Janine, whatever her name is complaining that she's got to hire 90 new lawyers. So because they've all quit and they quit en masse. You're starting to, I forget, another group of people just quit en masse. We're starting to see this stuff happening. There's nobody, somebody at some point is going to leak those files, but the number of people who would do it is getting fewer and fewer. And unfortunately, you've got too many cronies at the top who won't order it done. So that's a problem.
No. Yeah. And
as much as I could talk about this for on and on and on.
Yeah.
No, I know.
We got to bring the show to a close here. So.
Yeah, it's been a fun conversation.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for calling. It's good to talk. I know we've spoken on the phone.
Oh my gosh.
With each other before, but it's fun chatting with you anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I loved being able to connect with you both, and I look forward to more. And yeah, and I'm listening to you too.
Oh, awesome!
Appreciate that.
If anyone is interested, Eva will be known on my show as Eva Postate, and we'll be on August 30th, 5 p.m. Pacific, on the Deconversion Stories on my channel with me and Mikey Famine, who's in the chat over there, spouting off stuff as he does. We'll have somebody also, another friend of mine is in the chat. Her name is Sadie, and she's going through some difficult times right now with some operations that are needed for cancer treatments and stuff like that. Even though the genius that she is, she figured out a cure for her specific type and will be working on that. However, finances aren't in her favor, and she does have a GoFundMe, which I can't post it in the chat. So somebody that is able to will have to do that. So definitely help her out. I just donated a few bucks myself that I meant to do earlier, and I was like, shit, I didn't do that yet, and I just reminded myself, so I've done that now. I threw $50 her way. Hopefully that helps. See, Jim, how are you being able to do that? I can't even do that. I can't type in there. Damn it. I don't think.
I actually have the show open on YouTube.
Oh, cheater. I don't like to distract myself with that, but yeah. Oh. Wait a second. I think oh, yeah, I did. let's just do that.
Yeah, all support and encouragement for Sadie. And
Yeah.
it's been wonderful to speak with you both and connect with you both. That's really great, and thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. We'll
Thanks
talk
for
more.
calling in. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks again for calling in, Eva. We appreciate it, and we will speak soon because I'll see you on the 30th.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you on the 30th, and perhaps before that we'll chat on YouTube. And ciao.
Yeah, you bet. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. All right. And that is that. Jim, brother, thanks for jumping in here with me. We only got the one call, but it was a good one. And I think we
was good.
Good issues.
Yeah. Yeah. It was apparently only one call worth taking. Apparently Troll called. It's like, well, they're entertaining and we want to play with our food a little bit. It might be fun.
Before we spit them out.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
you know.
I do want to, at this time, give out a great big shout out and a huge thanks to our awesome patrons and members. Our patrons include Paul Cammish, Karen Butcher, HellsBells, Logan Fisher, Amanda McLeod, Jamie West, Sydney Davis, well, Junior on here, but I believe she goes by something else now because she got married. Eric Ozels, Tara S., Rion, D. Murphy, Dan D., Shannon Gray, Michael Wiseman, who was also known as Dragons in Genesis, by the way. Bass Thrasher, Bryce Roney, Jenna Mew, Deborah Grace, Sonny Shell, and Phil Calderone. And our members include the one and only Cynthia McDonald, Kelly Laughlin, tons of mice, and Logan Fisher. You might be familiar with
as of tonight, we have Angela. We have a new, as of tonight, Angela.
And Angela, right.
Brand new
Thank
tonight.
you. Yeah, I'll amend my notes here. Yeah, that's about it. And until next time, guys, be well and be good to each other. All right, we'll see you guys later.
This is Skeptic Haven.